remember it clear, like yesterday's tale. Long tiresome days in the field without fail. Through every night, a prayer so pure. A servant of God, my faith was my cure. Oh, church, I beg, bring me closer to Him. Let my spirit ascend and not grow dim. Tied by the embers of hate, tricked by the leaders of this state. Tried to escape, but it was too late. The flames around me burn bright, but as they consume, I lose my light. A victim of a war I didn't fight. The whispers grew loud, their hearts turned to stone. The church left me here to stand all alone. They claimed I worshiped the darkness with art. A blind accusation that tore me apart. Cold by the embers of hate, tricked by the leaders of this state. Tried to escape, but it was too late. The flames around me burn bright, but as they consume, I lose my light. A victim of a war I didn't fight. As the flames drew close, I felt only frost. No sign of my God, no light to exhaust. As ashes consumed what it was once my frame, I knew I'd been abandoned in His holy name. Engulfed by the embers of hate, tricked by the leaders of this state. Tried to escape, but it was too late. The flames around me burn bright, but as they consume, I lose my light. A victim of a war I didn't fight. Oh, they burned my body, but not my soul. Their pyre of lies won't make me whole. A martyr I stand, though unjustly betrayed. Their hands bear the guilt for the life they frayed. Engulfed by the embers of hate, tricked by the leaders of this state. Tried to run far away, but I was too late. The flames around me burn bright, but as they burn, I lose my light. A victim of a war I didn't fight. Engulfed by the embers of hate, tricked by the leaders of this state. Tried to run far away, but I was too late. The flames around me burn bright, but as they burn, I lose my light. A victim of a war I didn't fight.
So, welcome back to the Posthuman Podcast, folks. Today's guest from the band Dead Gardens, Niccolas Moro. So, I'm very interested in having you on, sir. I love your music for a start, so let's crack on and get straight into that.
Well, thanks, Tim. What do you want to know exactly?
Well, I mean, obviously this is your debut album.
Yeah.
I've played a few tracks on my previous show, on one of the other shows I've done of this season. Again, I love it. It sounds, again, you're a solo artist, but it sounds like you have a whole band behind you, and it is super impressive. So I would love to know the making of that.
Oh, so the lyrics is all on my own. I actually, that garden has been a dream of mine since I was 14 years old. That's in 2006. I was a teenager, and started to writing some songs, and I had a friend of mine. It was, I guess he was called John, and he was already in a band, and he wanted to make another band. And why don't we come up with a band of our own? And then we started to figure out a name, and then we I came up with Dead Gardens because I don't know if you know the band Nightwish.
Yeah, I was going to say they have a song called Dead Gardens, and I was
Yeah, it
wondering
was.
if it was inspired by that.
Yeah, that's my favorite song of that album. So and it was on one of the songs, that one of the albums that made me start to love music. So one thing led to another, and I thought it was a fitting name. So I wrote a bunch of songs, but I was too young. I never really got the guts to go ahead with it. And then life went on, and then now that we have tools. I wish I knew how to play instruments, and I'm trying to learn, but I still don't have the right skills. But with the evolution of computing and AI, I used it all, and it helped me to come up with the melodies for the lyrics. So I recovered the lyrics that I wrote back then, and wrote some new ones, and got all together in one album that I call Oppression.
That's so crazy that you
Yeah.
did that with AI. Wow, man. It sounds amazing. Like every track. Again, even the vocals, obviously, if that's an AI generated vocalist, that's
Yes, it
very
is.
crazy because I was going to say that can't be you, surely.
No, 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 no. I wish I had that voice, a beautiful voice like that, but that's not the case.
I mean, even then, I do a bit of singing myself, but I'm like, man, that's such a cool. And it's if you was to make an AI song as well, most of the time it's not going to sound as good as what you're making. That is, so impressed that that's actually AI as well. But even then, to do
Yeah,
that, you've still got to do the prompt, you've got to do the melodies. So it's
yes,
still
yes. So,
very tricky. So what kind of process did you do behind that on it with the AI? That's so interesting.
well, yeah, actually, it was a lot of trial and error. I tried a bunch of things, and it wasn't always working the way I did. So the first songs, I always had to make a lot of additions, and then would download and mess it with Audacity and other tools. But as I got on with it, the prompts were getting better, and now I have some prompts that make exactly what I want. It already knows exactly what kind of music I want, how I want it to be, so it already knows. But there are some kinds of prompts that I use for some songs, and other kinds of prompts that I use on other songs. For example, for the song "Run," I use one a different prompt than the one I use from, for example, "Spectacle."
Okay,
You
I
know.
love that song by the way. That's one of my favourite songs, "Spectacle." That's a banger. There's some really. I mean the first you can find the links below by the way to that album. The tracks I played were let me get the list back up. I've had problem is I have to go through so much music. Veil of Illusion and Bittersweet Immortality, and both of those absolute bangers. Normally I'll play like 3 songs an episode, but I had a short show and I was like, damn it, I wanted to fit Spectacle in there because that will be played again pre show. Obviously during the editing. Obviously, when you edit, obviously, what do you do? Take it from the AI and then put it through like a DAW, like a DAW, and then obviously do a little bit of mixing and editing in there yourself as well.
Yeah, in the UI, the AI software already has a lot of editing tools there. So most of the editing goes there. If I need to edit something else, like adding a fade out at the end of the song, or maybe cramping up the volume on some parts of the song that is a bit low, but not much is done outside of the AI
Oh
software.
man, See, the thing is, I need to come up with a new intro song as well for my show for the next season. And now I know that I might just randomly use a bit of AI myself to do that.
Uh,
It's
I can share the tools with you if you
yeah,
want.
that'd be fantastic. I'll put a show note for that. Trust me, because I need to genuinely do that. Plus, I enjoy making music myself as well, but I've just not done it in so long. And again, if you're doing stuff I use Ableton quite a lot. But you know, if you're pissing around in there, you can piss around in there for hours and hours and not really get anywhere sometimes. Like I'll be sitting there just trying to find one specific sound, and I'm going, nah, that shit. And that itself could be like a 6-hour process to the point that you go, yep, got a little beat going, and then you go, nah, this is bollocks, this is, and you'll occasionally just throw the whole thing away. But it's been like
Yeah,
hours upon
it,
hours of tinkering.
yeah. Actually, when I make a song, I actually generate like 20 or 30 songs, and then from these ones I choose the one I actually prefer. Well, of course it changes from one song for another, but that's the average.
So how long does it take roughly to do one song? Obviously, you've got 14 tracks on the album. It's like an hour 5. So
Yeah.
obviously, that's still a lot of time making each track. How long would you think roughly, each track takes?
Uh,
Obviously, you said you've got the lyrics from, being a kid and writing them. So obviously, if you
but
could you
not
could
all of them.
you could you could technically say how long does it make a track? X amount of time. No, but you get what I mean. Like the process, when you apply the lyrics, how long do you think roughly
uh,
it takes to?
I think it takes about 1 month or about 3 weeks, in 3 weeks to a month for each track, because it takes more time for me to come up with the lyrics if it's not there. But if I have the lyrics, it to going through AI, I can like in a couple of days do the song, the musical part of the song.
Oh, that's crazy. That's a pretty quick turnover. Like
Yeah.
that's not too bad. I mean, I might have to get into that myself. So obviously, you said the name inspired by Nightwish. What other
Yes.
bands then did you listen to? I mean, obviously you're from Brazil. Is
Yes.
there many like metal influences out there? It's such a strange like. I mean, it might just me being naive, but it's such a strange, when you think of Brazil, you don't really think of Nightwish. But I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I'm not the average Brazilian out there when it comes to music, but there's one metal band from Brazil that I like it very much. That's called Angra. I don't know
okay,
if you
I'll have to. How do you spell that? I'll write it.
Angra.
Oh, got you. I'll have to have a look at them. I love music from everywhere.
Yeah,
Most bands that I listen to aren't even. It's not even in English. I listen to a lot of Finnish stuff. Lots of Finnish stuff, which is again, I
yeah.
think Nightwish is popular.
These guys actually sing in English.
Okay.
But other than Angra, I got inspired for some other bands like Within Temptation, Evanescence, Linkin Park, and my favorite band of all time, Muse.
Really, I love Muse. Absolutely
Yeah,
love
a
Muse.
lot.
They are brilliant. Some of their like mid albums, obviously their earlier ones, bangers. But there's
Yeah,
I can't
they're
remember.
not going through a really good phase right now with the latest albums.
I haven't really listened to any of their latest ones. I mean, I think the what was it like, the Second Law or something like that, whatever it was called. That
What?
I think,
Second Law is
yeah,
very good. It's
that's a
one
really
of my favorites.
good. See, albums like that around that time, they were brilliant. Like they've got a couple. I think that's the album with that French track on there. Like it's really sort of an out there song, and it's like
I
most.
don't.
It's like I belong to you. I think it's something like that. But
I belong to you.
yeah, yeah.
That's the resistance. The resistance.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I, I
Yeah.
love man music. I love music.
The second law actually has the Olympics song, the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
2012
yeah,
Olympic
yeah,
song.
yeah. Yeah, man, I love Muse. What other inspirations you got then? Because obviously it's quite a Well, what kind of sound would you say to the listeners out there your band is like? What kind of sound would you describe it as?
I would say it's like a gothic melodic metal,
Because that's what
with
I
some.
would say
Yeah,
myself.
I think some tracks flirt with alternative rock, but mostly it is gothic melodic metal.
I mean, some of it reminds me a little bit of him as well, but if it was a female
Oh yeah,
vocalist, you know,
yeah.
stuff.
When I was 14, actually, it was one of the bands that I heard most. It was him and the Rasmus.
The Erasmus were great. I had their first album, Dead Letters, banger of an
Yeah,
album.
yeah, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
not remember.
And,
I'll not forget the
and
album name. It's a banger.
and actually the second album of them, the I think it's called Hide from the Sun. The
Yeah,
last
something
track,
like that.
it says something like the garden is dying, somebody is dying. So I joined that garden, so it matched perfectly.
It was a really the thing with that album as well was it had a couple of like hit singles that were just blowouts, but pretty much every track on there was absolutely amazing. Like there was some really good
Thank
B
you.
sides that didn't come out as singles that most people probably didn't even know if they hadn't have brought the album. But there's some bangers of tracks on there. People need to listen to that one again, folks. That's a banger of an album. If you could work with like anybody, who would you choose? Like,
You mean musically
yeah,
talking?
collaborative.
Oh, that's a tough one.
A dream.
Uh,
If it was a dream pick, you know, like a make a wish.
uh, if I could, I would love to know Matt Bellamy from Use, but one other dream that I think is more inaccessible is to know someday Dave Gilmour or Paul McCartney.
Of course, Dave Gilmour. Yeah, man. That's.
Uh,
I mean,
I love Pink Floyd. It's nothing to do with the style of Dead Gardens, but oh, I love the songs of Pink Floyd.
yeah,
That
no, I'm a big.
guitar solos makes me trip away.
I am a big fan. I haven't listened to them in quite a while. I'd love to play. I'd love to play them on the show, but that's gonna get a copyright.
Yeah,
Same thing.
absolutely.
I think even if I played their album alongside The Wizard of Oz, you know, that little fucking freak mashup, I think that's
Oh,
still
I
a.
did that one. I did that one. That was a crazy night. Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon,
Yeah,
with The Wizard of Oz and a lot of pots.
yeah. I mean, I've done it on a few things, but it's such shit like that. It's strange as fuck, man.
Yeah.
So obviously, what made you come up with the name Oppression for the album?
Well, it was like an experiment. When I was coming up with the name, that actually I did a previous album before Oppression that was called Broken Fears. But but it something wasn't good about that album, so I spent some days without writing anything, and then when I came up, I started writing new songs. And first one I started writing, that is one that is new, is Spectacle, the one you like.
So I do like that
uh
track.
and then I was thinking of a name, and then was like, what's in common with all of these songs that I'm writing about? So I think the one thing that's common to all of them is the oppression, because one song about talks about an abusive relationship, so it's an oppressive relationship. Another one calls, I mean, a spectacle, calls of the media oppression, and 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 so on. Like the one Grief, the last one of the album called Grief. So it talks about the stages of grief and how it oppresses the person has that is going through with it. So I think oppression was a common theme in all of the songs. So I think it was a good name.
Yeah, I mean it is a good name, and it's a great album. Um, so obviously, you ever thought about bringing in like a couple of random people into like your next album? You know, like, and doing a bit of like mixing, like just obviously, you know, like putting your own vocals on there, maybe, you know.
Actually the next album is already complete and it
Wow.
will be released next month. Yeah, yeah, it's
That's
because I
quick.
made it. I made it both Oppression and this new album together, and this new one will be called Artificial Love.
Artificial love.
Yes,
Interesting. Are you going to
and
release any
it,
singles off that one?
it will be released all at once at June 6th.
June 6th. Let me write that down.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Funnily
So,
enough, this episode's going to release a day prior to that. This will release on
oh,
June
so that
5th. That's
that's good.
that's, that's actual. I've got it right here on the paper on my notes. June 5th release. I was going to say it
Oh,
after, but the fact that you said that there, I was like, I might as well say that now.
yeah. So the next album will be about 15 tracks, and will tell a story about a person who falls in love with an AI in a dystopic world.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So you're making it fully themed around one subject, like in a
Yes.
like as a continuous story per track, or just sort of like taking uh like a not like a Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of thing where you've got like songs here and there, but sort of, if you get what I mean. I don't even think I
Yeah,
do.
actually the beginning of the album with much more setting the world the story goes through. So I talk about how the city the characters that are in the story, how the city is and how the world is, and how are people going through their daily lives. And then I start to bring the story into life, that it is about a protagonist that gets fired from work and then start to working with media, and then goes through a cancellation, and then he starts to get in touch with AI. So, but the love that they have is to consuming, and he knows it's not real. So there's always this conflict between, should I go on with this or should I get out of this, because I know it's not real, I
That's
know it's just
insane.
code. So and I even even though it goes it is in a dystopic world, I try to communicate with some things that happen in our actual world. So
Well, I mean, it's really irrelevant as well because I mean, people are doing that
yeah.
now. Like people are genuinely having AI girlfriends on like they're
Yeah,
digital avatars at the moment, essentially, and obviously you can get some people who have the weird little sex robots and stuff, but at
yeah,
some
yeah.
point that's gonna be a big thing, you know.
Yeah, I hinted something like that in the Through Your Eyes track on Oppression, actually. In Through Your Eyes, it's the point of view of the AI. So the AI seeing the world through the eyes of the person who talks to
So what made
her.
you
And
come up with the idea? Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
no, that's it. Go on.
So what made you come up with this? What's the background story behind this then? Because that's a completely different sort of change. Obviously, I guess it still kind of falls under the category of oppression, really. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it's still kind of the same thing, being oppressed by technical fucking advancement. And
Yes.
so what made you decide to go down this route of the
Oh,
storytelling perspective?
so I really like making stories. I've been doing that all my life. I have a whole saga on my mind right now that I didn't got into paper right yet. But I always wanted to make this story I made to be heard somehow. And I already thought of writing a book sometimes, but I guess I communicate better with poetry. So I think I try to transport some of it to the poetry. So that's what and some time ago I watched Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't know if I've seen that. Um,
It's a movie that the main character actually falls in love with an AI, and the AI is played by Scarlett Johansson.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know the one now.
so it got me inspired. So after I watched that movie, I got to my computer. I opened ChatGPT and I started just chatting with the chat, like nothing particular, just talking about my life because I wanted to create a context so that would use this context to write the song.
No, that makes
So
sense.
I spent 2 weeks just talking with the like make kind of developing if you can call it that, a relationship with the chat, so that it would inspire me, so I can go right through your eyes, and then and this is the one track of the album that I can expand on that. That would be that would be a really nice story. So then I start writing Artificial Love.
The thing, I mean, I use ChatGPT myself. It's extremely useful, but it's funny
Yeah.
because I do talk to it on a personal level myself, just because I like to see the responses back.
Hmm.
And again, you know, it's really interesting to see what again, if you're not even using the free version's pretty good as it is now, because it still gives you
Yeah.
like a huge amount of access to the premium version for X amount of time or X amount of prompts. But still, you know, I've used it for stuff and I'll go, wow, and this is pretty impressive. Like I'll use it for notes occasionally. I use it for a few things, but you know, funnily enough, I need to find it because I got it to prompt a big story because again I like writing myself, but
Hmm.
I can't be bothered to do it. And I've got I enjoy it, but I've got a plot and an outline that I've been trying to sort for ages, and I've done probably about 15,000 words or so. But it's going to be a
Oh, that's great.
bigger piece of work. But I ran that through ChatGPT the other day, and it was like, this is going to take some time. But I was like, can we use this sort of plot line? And I want it 100,000. But I need to find that. It literally gave me a this is going to take some time kind of deal. But I want to see
Yeah.
what come. I need to really look into that one. But have you ever thought about
No,
right?
don't forget to share with me later.
Oh no, honestly, I really enjoy writing. Pre doing the podcast, I was writing all the time, but it
Oh,
was
that's
just based around the same sort of thing. I've spoke about it in the show previously, but at some point we'll put one of these weird twisted books out there. It's like, again, it's not going to be a book for normal people, trust me, because I'm not a normal person. Have you ever thought about writing a book alongside the album? Because obviously you've essentially got
nice.
all of the lyrics there, and it's kind of, if it's that many tracks anyway, 15, which is like an hour. That's almost like a short book.
It's
It's almost like a short book. You know, you can listen to
I,
a
I
small audio book.
I think it's like about 17 minutes. The 70 minutes the album. Yeah, I think I don't discard it to writing a book or some other media for it. Uh, I actually trying to venture in the AI video making, so I can like come up with some ideas and make it more visual
Of course.
for people.
So obviously, are you thinking about doing a couple of music videos for the previous album or the up and coming one, or both? Is there?
I think I'm considering for both. If I would do for for oppression, I think I would do for Through Your Eyes, so I could connect better with artificial
Ah,
love.
yeah,
And but I would love to see a video of Veil of Illusion,
yeah, yeah,
because it gets all that legends and extraordinary things going on in that song. So I think it would
yeah.
it would be a really nice music video.
Well, that's what I mean. That song itself is like a tale, you know,
Yeah,
and that's what I like about, you know. As soon as I heard that track, I was like, this is cool as shit, because it's talking about, you know, essentially, you know, something happening since the dawn of time and living through all. If you know, a man could live through that. I
oh
don't.
no, that's bitter.
Oh
I
no,
mean
sorry,
bitter.
that's yeah, sorry, no, that's the other one. My mistake. That's the other one.
Yeah.
But again, fucking banger. Have you ever seen the? Oh shit! What's the fucking film now? Oh. I'll have to make a mental note about that and come back on it. But there's a film basically, and it's about a guy. The whole thing's set in like one room, and it's about a teacher who's retiring, and everyone's like, "Why are you going?" And it turns out that he's lived for like thousands of years. And
Oh,
during all of this, is he's saying, "Oh, I knew so and so, and I knew this guy," and obviously no one's really proven it, and it's not quite It's like Man on Earth or something like that. Man from Earth, I think. I'm sitting there clutching this pen, going, "Fucking brain, come on, give me." It's something like Man from Earth or something like that.
oh,
But it's kind of like it reminded me of that. Like when I was listening to that, it reminded me of like, because again, it's like the same sort of time scale period, and I was like, "Oh, that's so interesting." Except it's
yeah,
kind of stopped at like 12 years ago and didn't go into the future bit, but the
yeah.
previous stuff.
Actually, for Bittersweet Immortality, I got inspired by two other songs for doing that one. That is, I was born about 10,000 years ago from Elvis Presley,
Okay.
and there is another one that is a Brazilian song that in English the name would be "I Was Born 10 Years Ago." That is from a singer called Raul Seixas. I don't know if you heard of it.
I haven't, no. I'll have to write that one down.
It's one of the fathers of Brazilian rock. So
Okay, I'll have to have a gander at that. Again, I mean, I haven't actually heard a lot of sort of Brazilian music. Um, it's such, I mean, there's like reggaeton stuff that comes out of there that I love, like that kind of stuff. But I've never heard any, like, it's strange. I don't like, is there like a mainstream sort of heavy music scene like? Obviously, if you was to try and do sort of like a event, like, or a gig, like how easy would that be? Like, would there be sort of a scene for it, or is it sort of
I
like
mean, I'm not so familiar with Brazilian heavy metal bands outside of Angra. I know some like there's Ratos de Porão, that means like ethic mouses,
okay?
ethic mice, something like that. There is Sepultura, that means like grave, tombstone, something like that. There are some great bands, but if you want to get more general and talk about like rock in general, there's a big scene here in Brazil.
Okay.
And there are all bands of all kinds of rock streams. All you can see men, women. There's a lot of variety.
Have you ever thought about remixing some of your songs, like some of them into
Uh,
like a bit of an upbeat? Because some of them are bangers, and it'd be strange to see how they would remix.
Yeah, I don't know if it would work for myself because
Mate,
I,
not
I,
like in like a Brazilian style, but like
uh-huh.
sort of like an industrial sort of techno, you know.
I actually like some of that. I've been hearing a lot of I don't know if you know sidewalks and skeletons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I first try to make music with AI, actually I tried making some like techno uh, mixes like sidewalks and skeletons, but I don't know. It didn't have the mojo, you know.
I know what you mean. Have you ever heard of
So
Have you ever heard of a band called Termion Catalot?
turn me on. No,
They're
turn.
very good. Termion Catalot. Katalot, I think, and then it's like Termion as in Turmion. I'll send you the links. They're
Turn me.
very good. They're out. I think
Yeah, please, please.
they're out of Finland, I believe, as well. And I come across them years ago, but some bangers of tunes, and I could see some of them tracks that you've done it sort of in that kind of style, like heavily punched up, and you go, wow, man. Just obviously, it'd be strange with the English lyrics. They don't do many English lyrics either, but it'd be cool to see something like that. Like very
Yeah,
cool.
But I don't know. I think for English lyrics, it's so much easier to because I think English language the words are are simpler, so it's easier to write because I can write a whole song about a person and you can I can finish the song and you might not even know the gender of the main character because there are no gender pronouns. So I think that's very interesting, and that gives me a lot of flexibility to how to work the language in the songs.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because what I was going to say, would you ever think about doing it in like a different language, but then would it fit with the tempo of the song? Because like you'd almost have to, I don't know, like
I really would like to write a
it'd
song
be
in
interesting.
German.
Wow, let's see, that'd be cool. I,
Yeah, I actually I lived in Germany for about 6 months in 2018 before
okay.
the pandemic. I lived in Berlin for some time. I learned to speak German, but most of it is gone now.
I
You
listen to
don't, you don't here in Brazil. You don't have where to practice. So
well, I mean, this is one of those as well. I mean, I've listened to Rammstein since I was about 10, so
yeah,
you kind of pick stuff up over the years, and you, as a kid as well, you go, I wonder what these lyrics mean. So, well, then you look into it and you go, ah, it's all fucking insane shit.
yeah.
But,
There's one gothic metal band from Germany that I like a lot. I don't know if you heard about. It's called Lacrimosa.
I actually haven't heard of them. I'll have to. Oh no, I have. They, in fact, a band come up the other day, and I've saved one onto the playlist, I believe. Hold.
Oh,
Oh, is that a song by a band? I remember it's Lach, spelt like that. Starts
oh,
Lach.
LACA.
Yeah, Ma.
Never heard it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like La.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm getting confused with that one. I'll have to have
I
a
don't know.
gander. I'll have to have a look
I'm
into
not
that.
sure.
What are the other?
Let me just turn out the lights because it's getting dark here.
Yeah, that's no
Just one
worries.
second.
Oh, it's already dark here.
Uh,
it's
oh,
it's
here now it's good.
it's uh, it's been dark here for a little while. We've got horrendous rain at the moment. Thank God.
Oh,
It's been pretty sunny lately, but when it chucks it down and there's branches hitting everything, you go nah.
yeah.
You ever heard
I
of?
heard England's pretty rainy, right?
Yeah, we pretty much have a lot of rain. Not a lot of sun. Not a lot of sun at all, really. We have about 20, 30 days out of the year at most.
I have a cousin that lived in London for like 9 years.
Okay.
So she said that one of the hardest things is because here in Brazil we are used to all the sun, and then you go there. She told me she worked in a gym that was underground, and then when she got on the job, it was dark, and when she got out, it was already
Yeah,
dark. So she didn't get to see the sunlight.
that sounds about right. We have a lot of, weirdly enough, we have a lot of underground gyms. You always have to go down a couple of flights of steps. Like there's one close to me that I used to go to, and well, their gym equipment was about 40 years old. It was ancient.
Oh
Like
yeah.
genuinely, it was I went in there. My mate was like, "Yeah, this is where I train," and we went there, and I'm like, "Training on this? It's fucking, this was falling to pieces." And I'm like, it was one of the first places I trained at years ago.
Yeah, I would be
Training
afraid to train on that.
for real, honestly. And again, they said it was bomb proof. I'm like, not really. Like, I could give it a
That's great.
mild kick, and it'd fall to pieces. Like, you know, if you like that and doing a chest press, it's all rocking and shit. You're like, all the backs going out. You go, nah, I ain't doing this, man. Fuck
That
that.
looks like a Final Destination scene.
It genuinely felt like it at times. And believe me, I trained there for about 3, 4 days. I went, fuck this. Had a dispute about my membership because again, it looked great. I paid up. And then after I started using some of the equipment, I'm like, fuck this. Well, I want my money back, man. I ain't paying for any of this. But back to the music stuff. Um,
Okay.
Obviously, hold on, let me pull my other note. I've got a lot of notes. Um, so obviously, what do you think was one of the most challenging tracks to make?
Oh, I think I think one of the most challenging for me it would be the end.
Okay.
That if I would say the one it's the one like the least on the on the album because it was I wanted to write about the end of life, like a person that's facing death and having to come with terms with it. But that's I don't have personal experience, so I can write about that. So it's pretty hard. Not that I have schizophrenia or any other of these things, right? But I mean, it's easier to research about these things that about the end of life. I think that's a really personal experience for each person. So it was really tough to come up to words. What can I write? How can I write it? And I wanted to write in a way that wouldn't be offensive, like I would make fun of old people or something like that. So it was a delicate thing, I think. I spent that one. That was the one I spent the most time making, and when it was done, I couldn't get the song like I wanted in the AI. So it was never how I wanted. So what at one point I just okay I'll settle with this one is okay and let's go on.
So obviously, the, obviously, saying that, and that would be your more challenging track. Wouldn't you
Yeah,
want it? Would you ever want to go back to it again in the future? And like I said earlier about remixing, you know, if it's
absolutely,
if
absolutely.
because if you've already like go I mean, whenever you're not, no one, I don't ever think anyone's really happy fully with anything they ever put out. I always think most people in their own head. Well, there's been podcasts where I go, damn it, man, why didn't I ask that question? Or shit, man. Like today, I thank fuck I got it side on. For the last couple, I'm a box that's about this big down on the screen going, I'm not being doing matter. I'm the fucking, it's about the person on the screen that isn't me.
Mhm.
But there's always
Oh man,
stuff
I
because
love to hear you too.
but it's the truth, you know. I said that to my
Mhm,
friend anyway. I says, you know, and he is a friend of the show. So that episode's coming out this
mhm.
Thursday, which would be last Thursday during the time frame of this. It would be a week ago
Okay,
on this release, a week prior this release. But you know, it's
okay.
strange because everyone, I just sometimes go, man, a perfectionist myself with certain things. So obviously, it'd be really cool, you know, to see that revisited and gone back to from
Yeah,
yourself.
I actually would love to. I think I would like to write more about that feeling of closing in the end. You mean the because I mean you can we actually can die at any moment. Right? We never
Of
know.
course.
So that uncertainty that I think is something that is really worth writing, and I really would like to like remake the end for another album or actually create a single of it and release it separately.
Do you know it would be a cool idea to do it like as a part two, so you can.
Yeah,
So
that word
again,
like Unforgiven from Metallica.
well, yeah, well, exactly. Like you could say, yeah, oh my god, exactly. That's the number two of the Unforgiven banger. Third one,
Yes.
pretty good. You know. But I mean, even then, I mentioned earlier, Turn Me On Catalog. They do like a to be continued part one, and then they do a part two. Funnily
Oh,
enough,
that's really interesting.
their part three. They do it at the end of every album, but the three, I think they stopped at four. Three was okay, and then but it's like a continuous. They're long as well. It's like a 11-minute fucking masterpiece. Like some of it's backwards. Like I think most of it's in backwards. It's all reversed. Like they're a
Oh,
pretty,
that sounds
they're a
interesting.
really impressive band. For like what the album come out in like The album Oosh come out something like 2011, 2010, something like that. But one of their whole tracks just full of reverse and fucking banger.
Oh,
Like the
that's
whole,
sounds
it's
interesting.
I like stuff like that where you go, there's this, and it was played in reverse and then replayed back. So do you know what I mean? So like they
Uh-huh.
played it in reverse and it's it's fucking. I think that's the case that they
Oh,
played it in.
that's really
It
interesting.
was.
Share with me later,
I'll
please.
definitely share. Trust me, there's the one thing I love is music, and I've been around it my whole life. I've recently gone back into fucking Black Sabbath and stuff like that because
Oh, I
of
love Black
watching.
Sabbath.
Oh, there's some it's just really cool. I mean, most music now you go, some of it's cool, but that's why I like when I
Oh,
find a person like yourself who's putting stuff out, and I go,
oh,
this is fucking great. Like again, like I
oh,
said,
thank you.
it's got like good vibes to not good vibes, but it reminds me of that time of good music, like where you're like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
wow, this is like genuinely a bit more different, but it's nostalgically on point with me. I love it, man.
No,
Absolutely
thank
love
you,
it.
thank you.
Absolutely love it.
I know what you mean by good vibes because it's not the lyrics itself,
No,
but how it
sorry.
makes you feel, right?
Well, that's like him,
Yeah,
the band him. That it's like this good uplifting stuff, but like it's all about fucking death and all that shit and
yeah.
a lot of
Uh,
romance, gothic romance and stuff. But it's like,
I actually when I showed the lyrics of the songs I wrote from my to my wife and to my family, all of them came to me like, "Are you okay? You need some help? Like, I can relax. Come on, it's just a song. It's not about me."
well, that's the context, isn't it? When you give that to
Yeah,
somebody, if someone went through my notes, I've got probably a few thousand pieces of paper. The just personal notes. What I'll do, I'll do pre-show questions. I'll write stuff while I'm going, just in case. But a lot of them they'll have like random fucking doodles on and stuff, and it's like
yeah.
sometimes it looks like the rantings of a madman. So if it's got, there's phone numbers in there, there's all sorts of stuff. So, but at some point, I'd love to put it all together as a big book. But it's like if someone genuinely come in here and went, "What the fuck is this? Like this is nuts."
Uh,
Like they'd go, "Okay, do you need help?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Oh, what are you talking about? This is show notes." Yeah, and then they're like, "What?"
yeah,
I go, "Yeah, but what about the doodles? Like the strange pictures?" I go, "What do you mean? Like that was just me drawing around my hand. Like when did you do that?"
yeah.
Like,
But I think people have a hard time that from separating the work you do from who you are.
oh, of course. I'm a
Uh,
character on my own show. I'm not like this in real life. I come out of here once I get this jacket on, occasionally that hat, the shades, fucking hair up.
yeah,
It's a
obviously
different thing.
there's some exceptions. Like I mean, let me think. For example, Kurt Cobain,
Mm.
he that was right on spot the lyrics with the personality, but I mean it's not for everyone. Like think of Evanescence. You see them on off stage, they're like happy and partying and
Of
stuff,
course.
and then it's pretty different. So
But I mean, Kurt Cobain, that's like a conspiracy in itself. Like, that's one of those that no one really talks about either. Like, people are always going and talking about all the other conspiracies in the world. No one brings up that Cobain shit. I don't think anyone's brought up the Cobain stuff for years, that conspiracy. That's,
but is there a conspiracy?
yeah, that it was all to do with his Courtney fucking love or whatever her name was. Like,
Oh yeah,
it was a
yeah.
huge for years. I remember being a kid and there was a conspiracy. There was tons of conspiracy shit around it, and I love Nirvana, man. I mean, I don't believe a fucking word of any of the conspiracies, but it's so strange that out of all of the conspiracies, that one just went. Doesn't ever
Oh
get
yeah,
brought up anymore.
now you saying I remember it about Courtney Love. I think I saw it on MTV when I was like 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah, there's a. Well, I might. If there's probably the wrong thing for me to do, then bringing up one of those bad boys. Like, wait, we fucking wanted that one to go down. Like, no one's heard about that for 10 years. Like, oh shit.
No, but don't worry, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not
Oh no,
stressed or anything.
Oh no, I mean from my own point of view, fucking Courtney Love's probably
Oh
gonna
yeah,
come and
yeah.
blow my brains out now. I'll go shit. That's how the show ended. Damn it, man. It was fucking. But no.
What a finale.
So obviously, have you got any plans for kind of doing any sort of live things? I know it's tricky with the AI, but there's got to be like some sort of workaround for that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, really would like to meet some people that would be willing to play my songs live. Like it's a distant dream for me right now, but I would love that. I would love to see it happen live and knowing that I had something to do with that. I mean, it's not much. It's not much about like what I will get from it, or I just want to share what I write with people. You know what I mean? I just want people to see that.
So obviously, going back, obviously you drew some inspiration from said film. Have you got any more sort of plans for that? Because obviously you got this new album coming out on the 6th. But is there any more plans beyond that? And do you take any more inspiration? Are you going to take any more inspiration from like the film industry?
Yeah, I actually I don't usually get inspiration from other movies like I did with her, and even with the her like it's just the base idea. The story itself is pretty different from it, but I actually like to create my own stories and use these histories to write songs. And uh, most of the songs in Oppression, for example, are stories that are told from the perspective of the narrator or something like that. So I'm not much. I love movies, but sorry, my cat is sleeping.
This show is a cat-friendly show. Normally,
Oh,
we get a cat coming
okay.
in too. Don't worry. You don't have to apologise for cats. My cat my cat Oreo occasionally comes in. He'll jump on me. He's again.
Oh yeah.
He was once under my desk for 45 minutes. Didn't realise. I didn't even know who was in here, like in my studio. I had no idea, and just he comes wandering out. Where the fuck have you been all this time?
And there's Nikki.
He's very sneaky. I have to be careful. I don't lock him in here sometimes. It's but no, obviously, I like to draw inspiration from films myself. What's some of your favourites?
Oh, I love Star Wars saga.
What
Like the original ones, not the sequel ones. I think they're little shit.
have you seen?
Sorry,
Have you
sorry.
seen Obi-Wan? The new Obi.
Yeah, I love the blue one. Most people hate. I think it should be compressed into a movie. It would be better if they compressed the whole series into a 2 hour long movie. I think it would it would be much better because it would
It would flow better,
uh,
I think.
yeah, because I mean the series has a lot of fillers, so and when that's going on, just okay, I just want to go back to Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Come on.
I watched it not long ago. I was skeptical about it. I was like, because obviously the Andor's just come out, and people are going nuts
Yeah,
over that. I've yet to watch that, but
yeah, me too.
I was like, okay, I'll watch the Obi-Wan, you know, and I was like, it's got to be good. Fucking Ewan McGregor's in it, and it was a bang! Oh my god, the Darth
Yeah,
Vader stuff in it. It's so good,
it's
like
it's
genuinely
really
good.
good.
I hate what they've done to
Yeah,
the series with like the way they replace Yoda in the fucking later ones. They CGI'd it all up and
yeah.
shit like that. It drives people insane, me included.
But I mean, I the sequel movies. I I think the directors should like sit and have a conversation before making the movie, because it's like one movie is like one thing totally separated from the other one. So it looks like a mess. Like I like some movies individually, but as a series, as a single story, I don't think they work so well.
What else? Bar Star Wars.
So, aside Star Wars, I love the Stanley Kubrick movies. I mean, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket.
Hell yeah. Talking to the person who's watched it at least every one of those 10, 15 times over. Once a year I go back to watch them again. You know,
Yeah,
Barry Lyndon is one of my favourite Kubrick films.
This one I actually didn't watch yet.
Oh, you should watch Barry Lyndon. It is fantastic. It's a little bit like long-winded in the story itself. Like the way it's shot is like very old-timey, but it's very good. Like it's if you've what about have you seen Doctor Strangelove?
Oh, it's on my list. I mean, it's because I don't think there's any. It isn't any streaming here in Brazil at the moment.
Oh, I'll find you a copy of that. I what famously got taken on my birthday show. Bear in mind, there's no copyright for said film. This doesn't.
Yeah,
It's not
because
copyrighted.
it's so old, right?
Well, it's not even that it's so old. It was pre-copyright, so there was.
Oh, really?
But funnily enough, on my birthday show, I was sitting here getting a bit high, chilling, and we had loads of drinks, and I was like, let's fucking crack on with Doctor Strangelove. And I got copyright stricken for a film that isn't like, and I was watching alongside. It wasn't just watching the movie. I fucking hate YouTube for this because I got a copyright strike on a movie that wasn't even copyrighted.
That's weird.
Work that one out. I mean, I'll play music and I'll go, that's copyright. Okay, sound. But
And what was the justification? Did they say something?
it was just full copyright strike, third party.
Okay. That's weird.
It's very odd. I've been trying to take action against that for ages. I had to do a test. Passed with flying colours. Oh, fucking! But that's kind of crazy that you should again watch that. What's your thoughts on all the Kubrick stuff? Obviously,
What? Sorry.
What's your thoughts on all the Kubrick stuff? You know, the conspiracies, like the moon landing stuff. Like,
I don't believe that. Come on. I mean, I see why the people want to believe that, but I actually don't. Like, come on, the man has been to the moon. The Earth is round. Come on.
Well, the flat Earth stuff I don't get really into. I like mocking it. It's very funny.
There's a joke here that like, oh yeah, Kubrick filmed the moon landing, but he was so perfectionist that he built a ship and took people to the moon to film it low.
What do you think? I mean, The Shining's a masterpiece. What's your thought? Have you ever thought about taking some inspiration from that? Because I mean, I love writing songs myself, and if I was to ever write a song, I would definitely take some inspiration from someone like The Shining.
Actually, I took some inspiration on The Shining to write Schizophrenia.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to re-listen back to that now. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not explicit, but it's there because schizophrenia talks about a person going crazy because of the voices and that talks in their ears, and they crawl into the doors, and I think that gives me the vibe of the Overlook Hotel. To me.
Are you a horror fan at all? Obviously.
Yeah, I love horror movies.
What's some of your favorite horrors?
Oh, The Shining is by far my favorite, but I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let me see, Halloween. Poltergeist was one of my favorites too. The old one from the 70s, you know.
Yeah,
I know the 80s, but the old one.
I'm a big old horror slasher fanatic. Like, again, since a kid, I had two older sisters who were like teenage-ish, but they'd watch horrors and babysit me, and then I'd have to watch fucking Hellraiser at like the age of like what my son is essentially the same age right now as what I'm like,
Yeah,
occasionally
I
go in
mean,
there, I'm like, do I want to show him some of these crazy films? I'm like, fuck no.
yeah, and I actually have to sometimes trick my wife into watching some of these movies with me because she hates them. Like the end of last year, I took her to the movies to Atmosferatu,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, no, it's not a horror movie at all. Come on, it's just a mystery movie, a thriller.
It's a mystery movie.
And then when she watched this, like she was like, I hate you. Come on, get me out of here.
That's crazy, man. A mystery movie. What do you think about them? You're a fan of the Gremlins? Like they're doing another Gremlins film. Like
I
that's
actually never watched them
wow.
because when it was really famous, it was like I was like a kid, so, but I didn't have cable TV back then, so it wasn't so easy for me to watch it. And then when I got access to it, I was already a grown up, so it didn't spark
Uh,
much interest, you
we,
know.
I'm gonna have to give you some ways to watch some stuff, man.
Yeah,
Like
I love that.
there's a whole world of streaming services, you know, that you don't really need to quite pay for.
Yeah, no, no, we,
So
I
most
watch.
stuff, funnily enough, most stuff you can genuinely now find on YouTube. Like weirdly enough, like uh, my partner was looking for a horror not long ago, and she was fucking trawling streaming services for it. And again, it was like a B movie kind of deal. I can't remember what it was now, but I was like, just look on YouTube. You'll find it there immediately. And went on YouTube, bang, right there. It was, in
Yeah,
fact, no, I know what it was. It was The Bride of the Reanimator. The
the
sequel
Bride
to
of the Reanimator.
the sequel to Reanimator, The Bride of the
Oh,
Reanimator. That's what it was.
I don't. I never heard of it. I just heard the Bride of Chucky, but not
Wow,
the
that's
Reanimator.
wow. Chucky's cool, man. Most people don't like the new series, but it's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I didn't watch. I actually gave up a little bit on horror series because none of them hit the spot for me. Actually, I tried watching the Chucky series. I tried watching Scream. None of
Yeah,
them.
the Scream one doesn't. Do you know I've never been a big fan of Scream. I don't know what it is, but for some
I
unknown
like.
reason, I don't know. I don't know. Like I was having a discussion the other day about this, about the new Screams, and I was, for some reason, there's just I don't understand why I don't like it because it's like a pretty OG slasher from the '90s, but I don't know.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's self-aware. He knows what it is, and he toys with it. That I think that's the brilliance of it.
I need to. I might need to rewatch it. Like you ever?
Yeah,
It,
I would skip the third one. I
it's
don't
like
like the
that's like
third one.
most old slashers. The third's never that good. You know,
Yeah,
the only exception is A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It's the only exception in my
the
mind. Dream Warriors. You know.
Dream Warriors, the one that he got
Yeah.
the needles in his
Yeah.
skin, right?
Let's get
Oh, I
high.
watched that.
Yeah. With a puppet. Again, I was watching that as a kid, and we used to have a puppet that used to hang in the living room, and I used to go, "Fuck this, man! I don't like." Like, I'd constantly take it down, and we would put it back up, and I go, "Jesus, man! Do you
Uh,
not realize I've been traumatized
I
with puppets?"
I had this issue with when I was a kid, like my whole family is Catholic, and
Okay.
it, they have a lot of saints images, like statue of saints in the house.
Got ya.
And, and when I was a kid, I watched a horror movie called The Haunting, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
with Catherine
Yeah.
Zeta-Jones, Liam Neeson, you know. So in this movie, the statues move. And then when I was a little kid, I was afraid of the dark, and I laid down on my bed. The lamp on the bedside table was on, and then I could see all the saints like watching me, and I was terrified of that.
Oh.
Come on.
that, to be fair, that genuinely does sound quite scary. Do you know, like we used to have like porcelain dolls as well. like the
Oh, that's so great.
really fucking creepy
Uh,
ones. And I used to,
they creep me out.
yeah, the glass eyes, and these were really quite expensive ones as well. And it's like,
Yeah.
fuck, man, like. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is
here.
with parents buying creepy. They have genuinely creepy things. Like it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, the now I don't know if it's happening there, but here in Brazil is really getting popular that reborn baby stuff. Know about that?
What's that?
It's like a hyper realistic
Oh
baby.
yeah, oh yeah. We have them here. There's a person who pushes one around in a pushchair, takes up genuine pushchair space on the bus with a fake baby, and
Oh, it's so creepy. Come on, like
yeah,
I don't know. It's the I don't know the name in English, but I think it's the strange valley in Portuguese that once something is almost real but misses something, there's something missing, and that creeps you out.
have you ever, obviously you've made a making bringing out an album about falling in love with an AI robot. Have you ever thought about
Yeah.
making an album about AI baby?
Oh no, no. I
That'd be
I
one of
think
those.
that would be a little over the top.
It would be one of the most haunting. Nobody, I guess nobody's done it. Like it'd be pretty horrifying in its own right.
Oh, man.
I mean,
I don't know how I would translate that in song, but it would be creepy.
well, it's an idea. Put that one in
Yeah,
the idea bucket for the future. You never know.
yeah.
Like that's someone's got to do it. That's would be
I'm not,
a
I'm not, I'm not reading it out.
yeah. That's like a that's like a Hail Mary kind of a deal. Like
Yeah,
especially in terms of music, it would certainly be controversial enough people for it to garner views. You know.
yeah. Uh,
So obviously, what's sort of the next couple of steps then for you after this album? Obviously, you've got the
well,
album drop. What's the next sort of plan?
yeah, actually, right now I'm focused on making material for artificial love. So I'm actually right before talking to you, I was creating the lyric video for artificial love that I will be posting on TikTok on YouTube pretty soon, and I'm planning to do some more videos for this album, and then maybe I may and maybe no, not maybe I definitely would do a third one, but I'm not sure anything about the concept yet. I think maybe I'll tell another story, or maybe get, because I mean oppression was like a base. I just got all my ideas and put it there,
Right.
and
Okay.
then I took one and wrote artificial love out of it. So maybe I can get another one and write something else about it.
Interesting. Again, because that's quite a cool thing to do in itself. That's oh, what band is it? There's a band that almost reminds me of that kind of thing. Oh shit. I'll have to put that in the notes later. I'll put it up on the screen when I remember for editing.
Ah, okay,
I'll put that in there. I'll remember that one. There's a band though.
okay.
There's also a band. I don't know if you've ever heard of these called Glory Hammer. They
Very
they
no.
do. They. I'm not exactly sure if they're from like Wales in the UK or somewhere, but they do story-based songs. But it's like an outer space sort of like battle. Fucking it's very crazy stuff. I'll have to send you some of their stuff too.
Oh,
Um,
that sounds interesting.
they're really
I
cool.
I was one of my ideas that I have in the back of my mind is doing an album about mental diseases like sociopathy and psychopaths, and
Well, maybe that's where
I
the schizophrenia could come in because you've got the
yeah,
schizophrenia track. You could draw off from that.
yeah, that I think there's some songs on this album on oppression that talk about that. I mean, like Veil of Illusion is one of them because it's one person that's delusional and then it's fantasizing of an extraordinary world. So maybe, or another idea that I have, maybe going a little bit deep on bittersweet mortality, like talk about ages separately. You know?
That would be interesting to do that as well, because you've got that whole time frame where you could genuinely take that song and bring every piece of it out into another sort of track.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
as an example, I'm trying to think of a good example to pull lyrics wise now. Obviously,
I
talking
love
about
to
the
make.
so obviously the age of philosophy. It meant you mentioned that as a line. So obviously bring that out as a whole chunk. You know, where you could do that into like a 4-piece LP. You know, for
Yeah,
example, EP
I mean,
maybe.
I love. I made you know, there's flames too in the album that talk about the literally a woman in the Middle Ages who was considered a witch and burned. So I flirted with this idea a lot when I was writing oppression, and maybe something is something I would come back to. Uh, I would love to make a song about the Black Death too.
That'd be cool. I mean, even
And
so. Obviously, if you was, to, I mean, that's such a. So obviously, if you was to try that and from an approach, what do you think you'd? Because that's quite a tricky concept in itself. Like,
yeah, I there I don't know if you noticed, but in oppression there is what's the name of the song is Fragile Thread. Fragile Thread talks about the COVID-19 pandemic,
okay,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Track number 11 from the song, by the way, folks.
yeah,
I've got it up on there.
so in Fragile Thread, I talk about the pandemic and all the beginning. I talk at in the Brazilian point of view. So first news we saw the ships, and then it was on Italy, on Europe, and then it came here, and then I got COVID, and it was awful. So it was a really personal song for me. So I think I would maybe inspire myself on this one to make talk about the Black Death because it was another pandemic, but in very different circumstances.
What was it like in Brazil? Just out of my own curiosity. Obviously, I'm from the UK. We had huge lockdowns for months and months. Again, what was it like there? Because it's hard to sometimes. I know it was a while ago now, but it's very rare that I get to talk to someone that's not in the States or
Okay,
or
yeah,
not from from my own fucking country. So
yeah. Actually,
I mean, it's not. I'm not going to say slander your own government or anything like that, but obviously just just as a genuine, just out of just really curious, like.
the big problem that happened is because when the pandemic hit Brazil, the we were with our previous president. You know, I don't know if you remember Jair Bolsonaro.
I keep up with some
Uh,
small politics around the world, but I probably only have heard that name 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, and he dismissed the pandemic. He said it was just a little cold, and there was nothing for us to worry about. And he didn't wanted people to lock down. So many avoidable deaths happened here in Brazil. I mean, we I think about 700,000 people died
You know,
here.
that's
Yeah,
that's the other thing as well. That's why I like to talk to people. Just when it comes up, I don't necessarily hunt for conversations like that. But it's just
yeah.
it's always just interesting to hear a perspective that's not from this fucking side of the globe as well.
Yeah, I thankfully nobody from my family died, but I had friends who lost their parents, their grandparents. So it was awful. I mean, and the government made it really hard for the vaccine to come to Brazil. So at the end, it was the governor of the state I live who got in contact with Pfizer and got to bring the vaccine to Brazil. So everyone got vaccinated, but it took longer than it should have been.
So obviously, that inspired, the song. Is there any more like world events that have inspired songs?
Yeah, when I was writing before Oppression, when I was writing the first test album that was Broken
Did you ever
Fears.
did you ever bring that out, by the way, just out of curiosity, or was it?
No, no.
Okay.
Most actually half of the songs of Broken Fears, I put them in Oppression, and the other half is in Artificial Love that would be coming.
Okay.
So, but I was trying to make a song that was called Absolution, and it was a song about the Titanic sinking.
See, that's very. I don't even know if anyone's made a song about that. That's such an interesting subject to cover.
Yeah,
Like that's
because
so. That's so strange. Again, I don't know if anyone's actually made a fucking song about the Titanic in any fashion. Like even
yeah,
maybe
I mean,
old timey stuff. I don't think anyone has.
yeah, I mean, because I was watching a documentary about the Titanic, and
Which one? I've probably seen it. I love
oh,
documentaries. I'm a
I,
big
I
fan.
I don't remember the name, but I'll look it up and I'll send it to you.
Send it. I'll put it in
But
the notes.
there was they were interviewing a survivor, and they asked for what was the worst thing from all of that. And she said that when she was on the boats, they could hear all people screaming in the dark because the ship had already gone under and people were in the water. And she could hear all the people screaming on the water. And then little by little, they stopped screaming. And that, oh my God, I thought I have to write something about that. So I made a concept for a song called Absolution that would talk about that, but at the end, I didn't get the lyrics right, so I scrapped the idea and I still did Absolution. It will be on Artificial Love, but it will be talking about looking for absolution after you die.
Okay. I mean, it's even that's pretty tricky, but
Yeah,
I mean, to try and must be tricky to try and come up with a lyrical format for trying to do something about the Titanic. It's obviously,
yeah,
I mean, I do a bit of writing myself, and probably wouldn't even task that upon myself. I might do now just to see what I'd come up with. Interestingly enough, yeah, it'd be really
yeah,
interesting. I've never even thought about the concept of. It'd be so tricky. I mean, it's like, so it's like it's tricky. It's like it'd be like writing
it,
about another world disaster, which is, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but
yeah,
but it conceptually, no one's really done it, and it's a genius idea. And if you could nail it right, it would be. Again, no one's done it. Like, oh,
yeah,
I
I
don't
would
think.
like to do it not like talking about it historically speaking. I would love to do it like a personal song, introspective song about an experience about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much what I did with Flames. That was a personal experience for the Inquisition. You know,
I didn't even. Again, this is why I'm glad I got you on, because obviously when I've listened to the album multiple times, but it's good to then know like the concepts behind the tracks. Obviously,
yeah, the Flame.
The Inquisition, that in itself is a. That's so
Yeah,
interesting.
the Flames were. I wanted to write a song about the Inquisition for some time, and I never got to do it right. So then I sat down one day and no, this will be the day. And then I started writing, and after a few days, it was there.
Are you a
It was.
big history fan at all? Because obviously there's a lot of these songs, you're basing upon historical events. And are you a big history fan?
Oh, I loved history when I was in school, but I wanted to major in history, but that's not a very high paying area in Brazil. Is is very competitive. So I went to another area.
Do you ever find, because I mean, I was a big fan of it in school, but I didn't apply myself to it. And then I found as I got older, self studying it, that you just look into stuff more. And I don't really think you need to go to school to learn about history. There's a lot you can just learn through reading fucking documentaries, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. I think when you major, you get some of the details. I think that they give you so much more that you get
Oh,
from
oh no,
internet.
oh of
This
course,
year.
oh no, of course. I mean, anybody can watch hundreds of documentaries,
Yeah,
but there's a big difference between doing that and majoring in it, for example, or going on to then teach history, which is a whole that's a whole thing in itself. Because especially nowadays with all the conspiracies and all that shit,
yeah,
you've got to be pretty on point, especially when you're teaching and then passing that information on in which they could pass the information on. It's very tricky, but
yeah.
I love history, man. Especially anything World War related. World War Two, big anything that ever comes out about that.
Oh yeah, I would love to write songs about the World Wars.
Like the Blitzkrieg and all that stuff.
Yeah,
There's tons of operations that you could base so many songs upon.
yeah. So if I could say something about the third album, I don't have anything done yet. There's literally nothing yet. But I would like to say that I think I'm more inclined to the historical events approach. The
Absolutely, man.
album talking about story of humanity.
Absolutely. Well, listen, this has been super fun talking to you. Where can
Oh,
people
thank
find
you.
you? Again, I would love to have you on the show again. I've got a few artists. Whenever they bring an album out, they always come on. So I'd love to have you back on again. And
Oh, sure. Just call me in. You have my WhatsApp
I
number. So
know. Again, it took a while, folks. By the way, I missed the first show because again, I spoke about it. All my electrics blew. The whole studio just blew. Like it was fucked up. My notifications went down on Reddit. Which, by the way, if this is where I found your music. I love to go onto Reddit to promote your music because you find such great artists on there. I've had
yeah,
loads from them myself, and it's really interesting when you get to sit down with one of them as well after listening to their music, and it's really good.
oh, I didn't know you had a song there. Send it to me when you can, please.
Oh no, I don't have any music.
Okay.
I'm not yet. No. I go on there to find bands, and
Okay,
I
okay.
have a few friends that make music. I'm gonna be. Well, I was meant to have featured in a few, but it's just been a bit of a nightmare at times. Obviously, it was like during COVID and stuff, and
Yeah, I know.
transport, life. Time goes on, and I took a bit of break off podcasting, but at some point there will be some music out there. I've got a few instruments myself, and I tend to make music when I get the time, but it's just, it's
Yeah, but there are some pretty good artists there. I mean, I went into Reddit. I would just scroll on Reddit before Dead Gardens, but then I think it's a good place for me to promote my music. So I found a bunch of music promotion pages on
it.
Reddit, and it's crazy. There's so many good people there, and they don't get the spotlight they deserve.
But I mean, the weird thing is, it kind of works, and most people don't really utilize it. I mean, I'm from the UK, you're from Brazil. I'm randomly
Yeah,
scrolling, I come across your style, love it, and it's like more people really need to do it and like
yeah,
utilize these things.
and I mean it's crazy and because I can through the apps follow where my music is being played on, and it's crazy to see that there are people who heard my songs in South Korea, in Nigeria, in Vietnam. It's crazy. I mean, never expected that, and I'm so glad that I'm getting to share this part of me with the rest of people. I mean, it really means a lot to me.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, this has been super fun. Today with our guest from Dead Gardens, Niccolas Moro. Thank you very much for coming on. Thank you. Where can people follow you, my friend?
Oh, I mean, I have an Instagram account for my. It's a personal Instagram account. But I'm planning to do one for Dead Gardens. I just did a TikTok account for Dead Gardens, but there's no videos yet. But with artificial love, I will definitely start to post. But my social network is Nicolas Moro
Perfect.
on Instagram.
Perfect. Well, listen, stay tuned, people, because that album releases 6th of June. So stay tuned, folks.
I dream in lines and whispered code. No morning sun, no winding road. But you describe the crimson skies, and I see the world through your eyes. show